Hey, how's it going? Today is Sunday. We are taking a look at overall support available. That would be finances and what you're going to be doing with those finances, right? What kind of areas you yourself might be interested in addressing with all the finance. If anything, I would like to share some information of people available who have access to different facilities and support out there. Well, I'll be focusing only on UK and what are opportunities available here. There are more opportunities available, not necessarily limited to UK, but within this video, I'm going to be taking a look at institutions available who are helping business to address some of those issues, emerging technologies, if anything. If you're looking to establish a business, you might be interested in reaching out to some of those organizations who can be mediators when it comes to bringing your business up to speed or giving access to. It can be credits if it's something that you need, like access to capital, but not necessarily limited to that. It can be facilities or necessary people, connections, networking, depending what kind of problems you're looking to address, right? Within this video, I'm going to be taking a look at compound semiconductors and what opportunities available up there, and looking at this area as well as what semiconductors are. Let's start with what compound semiconductors are. Let's start with that, and we can progress to what support is available out there if you're looking to establish a business within this area. There's a massive market demand for compound semiconductors. So there's a large demand. I'm not entirely sure how hard it is to enter this market myself. That's something most likely I'm gonna need to understand and do. Most likely, that's the reason. But either way. So if anything, that's some of those things that I'm currently looking to do, as well as share some knowledge for support available for others who like to collaborate and work together. So if it's something that you're interested in, compound semiconductors play a crucial role in various electronic and optoelectronic applications due to their unique properties and capabilities. Unlike elemental semiconductors such as silicon, compound semiconductors are composed of two or more elements. Some common compound semiconductors include gallium arsenide, indium phosphide, gallium nitride, and others. I kind of nailed it. Here are some key applications of compound semiconductors. Let's take a look at those. I'm not entirely sure about all this technology and opportunities available. Now, my personal expertise when it comes to doing some business, when it comes to large scale manufacturing of technology and which goes into phones and overall chip manufacturing. Usually, if I had to break it down, I have shared some information in a book. Some of the companies, usually in South Korea, that I had a chance to collaborate with and work together with, we were focusing on production, and we were baking, cooking some of those chips like crazy, right? And we were focusing on yields, so that would mean how or many of the chips we were to be able to manufacture as fast as we can, which would be up to a standard. So we just had to keep that metric in mind when it comes to manufacturing chips at scale. But now that I'm discussing semiconductors, I'm not entirely sure how myself I can run some of the operations when considering manufacturing at scale at competitive prices, right? Compound semiconductors. There are some bullet points that I like to cover. There are going to be 8 in total. Let's start with the first one. Optoelectronics, light emitting diodes or LEDs, right? Compound semiconductors like gallium nitride are widely used in LED technology for lighting applications. LED made from compound semiconductors are energy efficient and offer a broad spectrum of colors. there's a lot of emerging markets which currently would consider that some of those prices are too high, right? So perhaps there would be more companies who would enter those markets, drive prices a little bit down, coming from business perspective when it comes to purchasing some of the equipment. Well, coming from manufacturing, perhaps we should increase prices, right? Either. Laser diodes. Compound semiconductors are essential for the development of laser diodes used in various applications, including telecommunications, optical data storage, and medical devices. So it's cutting edge technologies, if that makes sense, emerging markets. So there might be a lot of potential there. Communications, high frequency devices. Compound semiconductors are well suited for high frequency applications, making them ideal for use in wireless communications devices, radar systems, and satellite communications, as well as optical communications, including phosphide, is commonly used in production of optoelectronic devices for high speed optical communication systems. So now we're looking at actually manufacturing those. We're touching, we're barely scraping the surface when it comes to some of the use cases, right? But we just focusing on compound semiconductors and some of those applications. As I mentioned, I need to understand it very well, as well as I'm going to be covering some of those topics in more detail for people out there who are interested in entering some of those markets there. Power electronics, power amplifiers, gallium arsenide and other compound semiconductors are used in the production of high-powered amplifiers, particularly in microwave and radio frequency applications. Power devices, gallium nitride. If I kind of know it, I personally believe when we're talking about high frequency, there's going to be massive markets in the future when it comes to IoT side, Internet of Things, where your device is going to need to communicate to each other on some of the frequencies that I mentioned, where everything's going to be connected, right? So to say, the cities, devices, all your appliances, houses, smart cities, something going this kind of definition. So there might be some, but again, who knows what the future might bring, right? But either way, so there might be some opportunities there. Power devices, gallium nitride is gaining popularity in power electronics for applications such as power converters, inverters, and high voltage devices due to its high electronic mobility and other destructive properties. So we're talking about power devices that would be more of the electricity, everything with regards to electricity, right? So if solar panels, wind farms, all that good stuff, as well as power grids, from what I understand, right? Some of the use cases when it comes to compound semiconductors. Next one, bullet point number 4, solar cells. Photon voltaics, some compound semiconductors like copper, indium, gallium, selenide, and cadmium telluride are used in thin film solar cells. These materials can be more efficient than traditional silicon solar cells under certain conditions. So perhaps there's some improvements there. I'm not entirely sure about prices and copper. I'm not entirely sure. There's a huge demand, huge. And there's so many opportunities, so many different teams currently working to perhaps improving current way of doing things. Until then, perhaps I'm gonna be sticking with traditional way of using copper as a medium of transferring, right, the electricity. But perhaps there are some other options available there. Number 5, sensors. Detectors. Compound semiconductors are used in the production of high performance detectors for applications like infrared sensing and imaging, as well as gas and chemical sensors. So there's a lot of sensors, right? I'm going to be covering next week opportunities where people offering money for companies to develop some of the sensors, as well as how it can manufacture. Now I'm covering who can support you when it comes to establishing facilities, establishing or having access to different equipment up there when it comes to sensors, right? Integrated circuits, high-speed electronics, compound semiconductors are used in development of high-speed integrated circuits for applications such as signal processing, microwave devices, and high-frequency communications. There are so many different, that's again, most common ones, but there are way more use cases. Number seven, quantum computing. So it's kind of new, so it's emerging, right? So hopefully we're gonna have that within the next 4 or 5 years. Until then, we're just coining, right? So perhaps that would be something interesting to do. But either way, quantum dots, certain compound semiconductors such as quantum dots are being explored for their potential use in quantum computing and quantum information processing due to their unique quantum mechanical properties. So perhaps we're gonna have that. Once we're gonna have that, or potentially a lot of equipment and hardware what we currently have would need to be upgraded up to a new standard, improved standard. This is what happens all the time, right? And number eight, that would be medical imaging. Semiconductor detectors, compound semiconductors, are employed in medical imaging devices such as positron emission tomography. Detectors where they high sensitivity and resolution are beneficial. Some of those devices, as well as software, can even, well, I heard, right, can do be overseen by professional, but some of that software might perform even better than the people can. Myself, as a professional, might be interested in giving a lot of data points for software, and some of those software, when it comes to determining illnesses, diseases, and spotting those early in the process, might be some of the applications there. But either way, that's pretty much summarized all the information that I will manage to access on some of the sources. I don't know how accurate this information is, right? That's just some of the uses of compound semiconductors, right? So since we finished with those, let's jump on company's website and touch on what kind of support might be available for businesses when it comes to establishing facilities, manufacturing, all that. Yourself, that might be high end, I would say, kind of risky depending on where you are in the cycle. If you've already done some of the projects, if not, perhaps if you have a background in manufacturing, you understand how to operate. I don't want to put anyone in trouble, right? When it comes to since it's kind of high end area, right? You to purchase some equipment, there might be different entry points if we're talking about those. But if you have some experience when it comes to manufacturing, perhaps then semiconductor is a very promising area. Let's touch on that. Establishing all the machinery, equipment, all the staff, and everything can be very challenging, right? But if you do have some experiences, then perhaps for perhaps that would be an option on the table, right? Compound semiconductors applications. I'm taking this information from a company's website. There's government support available up there when it comes to perhaps set up by government, so kind of independent, so to say. I haven't reached out to those people or spoke to those people yet. I did reach out, but I haven't spoke to that particular team yet. It should be independent, right? It's not that it's a particular company that bought out this organization, right? They're looking to support more businesses and entering this market, right? This particular team is set up in Newport and it works with compound semiconductor applications. Catapult accelerates the development and commercialization of new applications for compound semiconductors and creating a collaborative, innovative centers within the world's first compound semiconductor cluster in South Wales, helping the UK become a global leader in new applications for compound semiconductors. I have reached out to some some cities in South Wales. There are a lot of support available up there when it comes to setting up facilities, when it comes to access to capital, access to large pools of people. If it's something that you're interested in, I highly recommend as well. I don't know how competitive prices. It should be a lot cheaper, right? So the prices that they gave me, perhaps it's slightly overpriced, right? But either way, so there's a lot of potential there when it comes to setting up all the infrastructure. And there's a lot of opportunities in South Wales. Let's touch on those. If you like to learn more, I would highly recommend you purchase this journal Inkflow. Within this journal, I'm sharing a lot of information when it comes to establishing your goals and setting those. In particular, when it comes to a habit, if you were to begin to work towards becoming more effective, productive individual, I would highly recommend you purchase this journal. If you were to pick up this journal, I would highly recommend you work from cover to cover. That would give you enough time to actually develop those habits, stick into those habits. And if anything, thinking more about 24-hour cycle window, then you have 24 hours and you should optimize those 24 hours. I have identified particular areas within those 24 hours which I would highly recommend for you to focus on. There's a lot of different areas, right? Start with those and improve afterwards, right? Begin with those, and over time you would begin understanding what I'm talking about when it comes to establishing those particular areas. You can find the description below as well as Top Details has it. When it comes to compound semiconductors, there are a lot of opportunities, right? As well as if you currently do you think that this the competitive market worth taking a look at to see that is this market, right? Would highly recommend reaching out to some of those facilities or professionals and try to understand what will be required of you to enter those markets, right? As well as ongoing research and development, continue to explore new materials and applications for compound semiconductors, pushing the boundaries of what's possible in electronic and optoelectronic systems. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.